The book of Jasher, chapter 6, verse 14. And all the fountains of the deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was upon the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. And Noah and his household and all the living creatures that were with him came into the ark on account of the waters of the flood, and Yahuah shut him in. And all the sons of the earth that were left upon the earth became tired through evil on the account of the rain, for the waters were coming more violently upon the earth, and the animals and the beasts were still surrounding the ark. So many animals drowned and died as well, but we'll get there. And the sons of men assembled together, about 700,000 men and women, and they came unto Noah unto the ark. And they called unto Noah, saying, Open for us, that we may come to you in the ark. Wherefore shall we die? And Noah said with a loud voice, and answered them from the ark, saying, Have you not all rebelled against Yahuah, and have said that he does not exist? Lived a life like he doesn't exist? Therefore Yahuah brought upon you all this evil, to destroy and cut you off from the face of the earth. Is this not the thing that I, Noah, spoke to you of 120 years, and you would not listen to the voice of Yahuah? And now, do you desire to live upon the earth? And they said to Noah, We are ready to return to Yahuah. In essence, we're ready to repent now. As for all those deadbed confession misled out there. No such thing. It's a lie. You can confess on your deathbed, but you're not going to be redeemed. And they said unto Noah, verse 21, We are ready to return to you, Yahuah. Only open for us that we may live and not die. And Noah answered them, saying, Behold, now that you see the trouble of your soul, you wish to repent to Yahuah? Why did you not repent during these 120 years which Yahuah granted you as a determined period? Said, I warned you for 120 years. I've been telling you for a long time. Why you didn't listen then? Now it's time for you to die and leave the earth, because you know where you're going. You're looking for forgiveness. Yahuah not going to deal with the unforgiven. Continue on. Verse 22 again. And Noah answered them, saying, Behold, now that you see the trouble of your souls, you wish to repent to Yahuah? Why did you not repent during these 120 years which Yahuah granted you as a determined period? Your lifetime. But now you come and tell me this on account of the trouble of your soul. Because now you know you're going to be judged. Now also Yahuah will not listen to you. Again, no deadbed confessions. All Catholicism lies, heathen lies, crooked pastors and coward preacher lies. Someone is laying out there dead. Well, you never know. Well, yes, you do know. How did they live? And in those rare exceptions where Yahuah may be doing a different thing, then that's Yahuah's business. And if there happens to be one that's dead, they better hope Yahuah is doing a special thing for them. And trust me, that would have to be someone whose heart has been sold out for Yahuah, and Yahuah may be granting mercy. But those anomalies, those are the things that, we have no business focused on. We need to be focused on what we can control. These ashes tell us what, brothers and sisters? A living dog is better than a dead lion. Why? Because the dead, They know nothing and they have no more reward. They can't fix it. Hallelujah. But continue on here. But now you come and tell me this on account of your troubles of your soul. And also Yahuah will not listen to you. Neither will he give his ear to you on this day. This is what Proverbs 28:1 is talking about. Let's look at that. We'll come back. Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom, my brothers and sisters. Again, now, Yahuah is doing a marvelous thing, brothers and sisters, right now. We're literally seeing history repeat itself. I'm talking about from the root to the toot, from the flow to the head, flow to the roof, or toe to the head. Every kind of evil, every kind of wickedness unimaginable, which is the same thing that was happening in that day. But look at this real quick. Proverbs 28:9. He that turns his ear or won't listen, or don't respect, don't find a way to hear the teaching of this Torah, even his prayers shall be an abomination. This is the same thing that Noah is saying here again in Joshua chapter 6. I'll read it to you again. Verse 23. But now you come and tell me this on account of your troubles of your soul, because now you know you're about to die, and you know you're going to burn. Now also Yahuah will not listen to you, neither will he give ear to you on this day, so that you will not succeed in your wishes. And the men, or the sons and men approached in order to break into the ark to come in on account of the rain, for they would not bear the rain upon them. And Yahuah sent all the wild animals that stood around the ark, and those beasts overpowered them and drove them from that place. And every man went his way, and again scattered themselves. I want you to remember that word, scattered themselves upon the earth. But here you see he sent the wild beast upon them. We talked about this before. We talked about it in Jeremiah 5:15. Jeremiah 15:21. No, 15:3. Hallelujah. Where he said, I'm going to send the wild beasts and the wild animals upon, mankind in the last days, in that judgment. Let's look at that. Jeremiah 15:3. And I will appoint over them 4 kinds of judgments, says Yahuah. The sword, which means war, to kill. Dogs, to tear, means eat you alive. The fowls of the heavens means the crows, the buzzards, vultures. And then the beast of the earth, to devour and destroy. I want to focus on that last one for a moment. The beast of the earth. We know about the dogs and the wild animals, the birds, the fowls of the air. But it says here the beast of the earth to the devour. Now, how many of you brothers and sisters are aware of what's going on now with the Epstein files? And what's being exposed with those files? What's coming out? And what's really sad, what little bit is coming out. Let me say that the right way. There are 3 million pages to it. Most of it redacted. If you don't know what redacted means, they blacked it out. They took a black marker, like a marker lock. They took a black marker and they blacked out because they did not want people to read the horrific things that's going on. You notice I said that's going on, not that has been going on, the horrific things that are going on. Things so horrific that the Attorney General of the United States, her name Pam Bondi, some of y'all may not even know who that is. Some of you might say, well, I don't care who it is. Well, you should care. You paying into this system, you claim to be an American, you paying your taxes, You're doing your service to America. You're doing your obligation. You're paying all of the things that make America, to call home, as you say. Well, she's a part of your government. She's a part of your, truth be told, your judicial system. The Attorney General is like the top police, brothers and sisters. That's who they put. Robert F. Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, brother, he was, just to kind of give you something to compare and contrast. If you know about the Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy was your president. Robert F. Kennedy was your U.S. Attorney General. He's the boss of the FBI, the CIA. All of them reports to Pam Bondi. So all of your so-called police. So she is relevant. She doesn't think you are, but she is relevant. Because there's all this information coming out. And the reason I bring this out, I'm comparing this because what happened to our people in the days of Noah, when Yahuah judged this earth, mankind, maybe not necessarily our people exclusively, but when he judged mankind, all of these atrocities that were happening then, those same atrocities are happening right now. Men are renowned. These are people who are famous, or better said, people that have power. Inside of these Epstein files, where they're finding out 500,000 children, brothers and sisters, were eaten or being taken and sacrificed, human sacrifice. Just like we were told in the book of Deuteronomy that you do not pass your children through the fire, chapter 18. These children, there were women who were having, I'll give you a moment if you want to put your hands over your ears, turn your head, tell your child to go in the room and come back in 2 minutes. That's your call. I'll give you 10 seconds. Because unlike them, I ain't redacting anything. I'm going to say exactly what Yahuah tells me to say. Okay. They're talking about they had, this is going on with Epstein, and this is written in these files, so you know where I am, so you can know where you are in this teaching this day. But they would have pregnant women. They would, I don't know how they got them, snatched them up, drugged them up, had them on surgery tables, because he had all of that on Little St. James Island. That's located in the Canary Islands. You can look that up too. Sure you won't find the place, but it's there. Tunnels everywhere, all kind of things going on underground. Told my brothers and sisters about that too. Many of you think it's just a joke. You need to look up DM, Deep Underground Military Bases. So you got underground military bases, but somehow or another your governments don't know what's happening underground. But they got military bases underground. Bunkers. Bases are really bases. Anyway, getting pregnant women, when putting them on these tables, when they deliver the baby, these beasts literally fight like wild dogs, brothers and sisters. It's tearing. So you got to hear this stuff, because you need to know why Yahuah is going to tear this place down, brothers. And this is why you don't have time to be walking around here celebrating Valentine's Day. And many of you doing it. Or did it, depending on when you hear this message. Do you know the origins of that day? They would give you a quick little overview of that day. And I'm not going to go all over the place. I'll pull it together. Just give me a moment. I'm pulling it together. Just listen. Don't give me a moment. Settle your brain down. Focus. Turn off all the distractions. Like we talked about on Tanakh study. Are you here or are you not here? Can't be in two places at one time. So you decide. So let's focus and learn this stuff. This is important. This is what Noah would tell them. 122 years I tried to tell you guys, but you would not listen. This channel has been here for over almost 12 years. I've been trying to tell you guys, and many of you still not listening. You'd rather go listen to Carrie Ann Gibbs with her little witch buffoonery and all the rest of them, the liars and the witches and all of it. You'd rather go there than to learn something that's really going to determine when that time comes, when Yahuah is judging this earth, he's going to present you with the option of destruction that you brought upon your own self because of your own device, because you chose to marginalize, or you couldn't even determine what was truth and what was just a bunch of, BS foolishness to entertain you, to keep you occupied. The very word entertainment is to what? It's to capture your attention, to snare you. Most of our people are captivated with entertainment, and most of them are totally ignorant when it comes down to truth. That's why we teach, inform, and educate here to help you. But many of our people don't want to be saved until it's too late. The history is repeating itself. This is exactly what they were doing in Noah's day. The book of Enoch talks about the giants. What were they doing? What were the children of the giants? Not the giants, the children of the giants. The Nephilims and the children of the Nephilims, the Elots, Rephaims. What do you say they were doing? They were eating human flesh, drinking human blood. And we let idiots who, in the so-called misinterpret Yahuah's word, using books that are half written like Genesis, leaving out major details, tells us, oh, all of those things were drowned and there were no more giants left on earth. But yet, the same people that told us that, brothers and sisters, they told it to me too. You can go right over to the book of Numbers, and there we are in Numbers chapter 14, 15, 13, 14 for sure, 15, roundabout, saying what? We went over to the land you told us to go to, the land of milk and honey, Yahuah, but there were giants there. And we were as grasshoppers before them. We've all heard those stories. Well, if you know the book, you know what I'm talking about. So how could Genesis all have gone away, but over in the book of Numbers, in Joshua, Caleb, Moses' time, they're still there. This is the very reason why the 12 spies, 10 of the 12 spies, went into rebellion. Because they were like, no, them giants. They weren't rebelling because the blessings were not there. The blessings were there. The food, everything that was promised, milk and honey, which is just a metaphor for goodness. Those things were there. But the giants were there. And the giants ate people, and they knew it. The beast. People like the Goliath that we read about. 8 feet tall, 9 feet tall. I'm sure they've had children now who may be 5 feet tall. Hell, 4 feet tall. Dwarfs, 3 feet tall, 6 feet tall, 7 feet tall. But the one thing that hasn't changed, they still eat flesh and they still eat blood. So when you look at what's going on with the Epstein revealings, you're finding out, brothers and sisters, they never left. These wild beasts are here, two-legged, which some of us think are human. But they're like serpents. They're just like the book said, they're serpents. A serpent is considered what? And you look at it, it's what do we call it? A cold-blooded animal. You ever heard anybody say, man, she's cold-blooded. Man, that dude is cold-blooded. We've always interpreted that as being vicious. Serpent. Satan, cold-blooded. It's a metaphor. It wasn't a snake. He was a beast. A cold-blooded beast. Gadriel. If you look in the book of Enoch, chapter 69, talks about it. Right there in the garden with Adam and Eve. Right here among us right now. And so this is what you see going on. And now they're talking about these things who are eating 500,000 children, brothers and sisters. This is all written down in the ledgers, the things they're hiding. The so-called Epstein files. Files making it like some complicated. No, it's just nothing but a trail of emails, brothers and sisters. Just like you got a trail of emails that someone you dialogue with on a regular day, y'all got an email trail. That's all that is. They use the words like files, so you make you think, oh, this is difficult, this is complicated. You got to go to file draw, then you got to get an index, and then you're going to have to, no, brother. That's bullshit. That's just to make you not want to be interested in it. No, it's just information that was passed back and forth to the renowned people. I'm not even going as far to call them powerful unless you think Chris Tucker is powerful, or Charles Barkley is powerful, or Naomi Campbell is powerful. If you think, celebrities are powerful, then okay. But you had your so-called entertainment people there, some of the names I mentioned, and I'm not a legend, you go look it up for yourself. You got your politicians from all over this earth. This is why we need to be careful, and this is why I said let's start here in the book of Joshua, because it said the whole earth came before Noah when Yahuah was judging this place. Because they all knew the truth. At least they heard, but they didn't care. They didn't even know it was the truth. They just thought this man was out of his mind, talking crazy talk, diarrhea of the mouth, or whatever, potty mouth, whatever they would say. And that's what Satan accused Noah of. He said, Noah, you're a very brutal man. You brutish. You're hostile. You read about that in the book of Joshua, chapter 23. Him attacking Abraham, not Noah, attacking Abraham. That's Satan attacking, but he doesn't change. They don't change. That's Abraham. Call Abraham all those names. But they called Noah a fool and thought he was crazy until he wasn't a fool anymore and he wasn't crazy. And I say that to you, my dear brothers and sisters. They're going to call you names. They're going to, the scorners, the mockers, that's what they do. They don't have nothing else going for them. So what they do, they target people who have something going on, and that's where they try to, lay their little, maggots on us. Flies, maggots, parasites. So they try to come over here or come at you, and this is why you need to understand why it's so important that you stay trenched, stay locked down, stay focused. Push away, the shit eaters or the shit starters. That's what maggots are, right? Flies produce maggots, and maggots eat flesh and manure, etc. The scorners and the mockers around us, that's what they are, parasites. Low-level thinkers, low-level thinking parasites. Everything for them, they operate by their instinct. There is no reasoning, no logic. You can't get them to see the obvious. Again, the book said they have eyes to see, ears to hear, but their eyes, ears not working for them. This is why I brought up Pam Bondi. Because if you don't know who it is, you consider yourself an American, and you'd say America is a country of laws. I don't care if you agree with how the laws are applied, but if you say America is a country of laws, then you ought to know who your Attorney General is. Just as well if you know who Robert F. Kennedy was versus who John F. Kennedy was. If you know who Trump is, you should know who Bondi is, because that's the equivalent. Bondi is the equivalent of Robert Kennedy to John Kennedy. Bondi is the equivalent of that same thing with herself to Donald Trump. And it's all coming out, and they're asking her questions, and what she's doing. Every time they ask her a question about the 500,000 children that are missing in these letters, talking about, jerky, flesh jerky, like beef jerky, moving things all around. I want 60 pounds of jerky. I want 5 pounds of jerky. You got any more jerky left in the refrigerator? They were talking about flesh. And I named those 3 people, but brothers, the Clintons and the Gates and these things go on and on. Understand now, Melinda and Bill are no longer together because Melinda got some stuff from Bill. She was on NPR saying it allegedly. Fair use. Informational purposes only. But anyway, you have all this stuff going on around here, and they got all these people named, not just Trump, a bunch of people. Government officials, corporate. Can I say M-U-S-K? Him. The one that was over Dodge. Remember when they put Trump in office, they brought him in there, and everybody was looking at him, man, this is the Tesla man, and, then all of a sudden him and Trump are enemies. I wonder what they fell out about. Could it be because of those files got released? Or he saw his name in there and he got mad, got in his feelings? But Trump's name was in there too, so 2 peas in the pod. But it's all, like you said, a lot of it's redacted. But it wasn't just them. People, officials from South America, officials from Australia, officials from the United Kingdom or Europe, officials from Africa. I'm sure there were probably a few being directed from Antarctica. In other words, there's not a spot on this flat earth that did not have Renowned people or people who had money, corporate CEOs. Maybe the Walton family was there. I don't know. DuPonts, Oppenheimers, you know. People own Target. People own Nordstrom's, you know. Mm-hmm. All the automotive industries, John Deere. Maybe Procter & Gamble executives. Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Kimberly Clark. Costco. All this stuff happening, brothers and sisters, in plain sight, but most people are so preoccupied or they not paying attention, and the ones who know, they the ones who make sure you stay occupied. So they questioning Pam Bondi, and she won't answer the questions. Every time they ask her, what about one of the, oh, why y'all want to talk about that? It's you pull it up, and it was last week. It's shocking. The corrupt, inept, disingenuous, unconcerned. Because not only with 500,000 babies, they're talking about, hundreds of thousands of young women, probably boys too, but especially young women. And many of us have heard about, many of us are aware there's human trafficking. You follow this channel, I've talked about this stuff for years. But we just looked at it as more or less a sex thing. Didn't realize they were eating them. Didn't realize they were tormenting them. Torturing, not tormenting, torturing. And the thing I would say to any of you, my brothers and sisters, how many of these people you think, prior to that happening to them, that was going to happen to them? See, these are the questions behind the questions that no one wants to ask because nobody wants to deal with that. It could be you, it could be your children. Because yes, this is all tied into what they have. I'm sure they feel, unfortunately, it's been revealed about their behavior. But if you think Jeffrey Epstein is the end and the beginning of that thing, then you still must believe that Santa Claus come down chimneys and put presents under the tree and go back up the same chimney he came down, stay clean, and fly off with reindeer who don't fly. Brothers and sisters, this stuff is happening. He's probably one of a million of them. And guess what? This stuff is still going on right now. Because nobody wants to talk about it, or everybody's over there looking at that. They're not even paying attention to all these people coming up missing. And you might say, well, why does that matter to us? Because you are prime beef. Or matter of fact, let me say it right. Yashua, you are prime flesh. Between your melanin, your stem cells. Think about Henry Ella Leakes, her DNA, the leak genes. Look it up. You think that idiot dog can talk like this, brothers and sisters? Or Geno Jennings? These fools can't read, half of them. They know words, but they don't know interpretation of words. That's why they have other people, well, let's go get the NIV. Let's go get that idiot with GMS, the camps. Like that fool goes to AI and asks questions. Show you how ignorant them idiots are. They don't have they are not us. I want to say to my brothers, please do not put me with that crowd. I'm not that crowd. I don't know them dudes. And that's something else. That's not what you're going to get here. I'm not affiliated. When I say affiliated, I know you know I'm not affiliated, but I don't think like they think. I don't walk like they walk. I don't talk like they talk. And I can assure you, as far as what I've been exposed to over my life, I went beyond the street corners of New York. Been there a few times, a nasty, filthy place. I wouldn't pee over there if it was a fire burning on a cat to put it out. The cat owner, no offense. But you're not going to hear this kind of information from them because most of them are paid and bought for. Gathering of Christ Church, them two, Starting to come out now that, they number a bunch of hustlers. He wants to be a singer. He wants to be Michael Jackson. Couldn't cut it in the street, so he's going to cut it in the church. He's going to build his own auditorium. They're in the process of doing it. At the expense of a whole bunch of people who just want to be entertained. That's why I say, if you're interested in being entertained, then that's fine. Unsubscribe and go over there. Don't come back. Don't waste your time over here. Just stay on out there and let the flood, let the water come up. The day will come you'll wish you had been, not only you'll regret that you didn't listen, but you're going to regret that you did not react. When God brought that water, it was scattered. It went all kind of different places. The scattering of a people is not the blessing of a people. We were taught again, misinformed, that Yah scattered us to save us. I ain't seen that in the book. Everywhere I see where we got scattered, we were scattered so we could be conquered. Show me the book where he scattered us in many places to save us. I can show you where he gathered us together to save us, to protect us. But when we were in rebellion to him, he scattered us. Scattering is a curse. We're supposed to come together. Again, we talked about it in the Wednesday night Tanakh study. Some of you might say Bible study. How that if you wanted, nature, let's talk about what, just bear with it. Bear with me. Look at nature. Some of you know, if you watch nature channels, when you see lions hunting prey, prey, little predators hunting prey. What do you see them do? They take and they cut off whatever they're hunting from the group. They cut it off. First of all, they look to see which one is going to be the easiest to capture or to destroy, to eat. Wild beast. And once they spot them, they give that one that they try to get, they give them the impression that they're safe. You're good, nothing's gonna happen. They try to keep it distracted. They keep real low and just try to keep things as normal, make them feel comfortable. It's okay. But slowly but surely they're surrounding it, separating it from the pack, from the masses, because they know with the group they're going to be able to defend them. But if the group don't even know what's going on, then where's the defense? So dividing of people is how you conquer. We've all heard divide and conquer. But we only want to apply that, to something that we're not interested in doing. But when it comes down to whether or not we're behaving in that way, then all of a sudden, it becomes complicated. It's not complicated. But he used the beast to scatter them. He talked about it in the book. Why? So that they could not be redeemed. So that they could not get saved. So they could not get into that ark, which is a metaphor of Yahuah's redemption and salvation. But just like it was in Noah's day, you see it going on right now. Mass murder. All kind of superheroes. This is where you get all of your, what we call today, athletes. Back then, they called them, superheroes. In some cases, they even called them gods. The greatest of all time, GOATs. Your Brady's, your LeBrons, your Jordans. Tiger Woods, the Williams sisters, and many others. Greatest of all time, Ali. And just as all people were captivated with them and not listening to Yahuah's anointed, his prophets, they're doing the same thing now. While all hell is breaking loose. Women, men and children, and infants being snatched up by two-legged beasts, taken underground other places, never to be seen and heard from again. In these same files that they were talking about, they found that this guy was buying sulfuric acid. You know what sulfuric acid is? It's what they use to dissolve, like bones and tissues. Whatever tissues might be left on the bones. I'm sure they're eating the flesh. They had many, many drums of that stuff on his island. Had a clinic there. I heard that they had, dentists there. Why would they need dentists? Surgeons there. Emergency equipment there. But then there are letters inside of there where the guy would ask, whoever he was talking to in their emails, get that file stuff, they're texting. Can I, how far can I go with this one? Can I go all the way, like unalive them? Or can I just, abuse them but not unalive them? And there were some times he said, you go as far as you want to go. You paid your money. And these horrors are happening all around us, brothers and sisters. And if you wonder why Yahuah is going to be so hostile and so, violent against this earth, it's because of all this violence that's going on upon this earth and being unaddressed. And unfortunately, Yahuah has become a participant in it. Yahuah said that we were supposed to be a people above all people. We were supposed to be a light. Something that when men looked at us, they would see Yahuah. Talking about his power, his brilliancy, his beauty. So he said, I made you stronger and, healthier, more innovative, agile. He said he made us very, very, people who can persevere while they haven't wiped us out. They've been trying. He said, I put something in us that's so powerful and so great, it reflects him. But we're not him. But the similitude and likeness, yes. And in these 12 tribes, in particular, he said Judah. But our question would be the exceptional of the exceptional. But then he said Judah backslid like a backsliding heifer. So yes, great to know that I'm an Israelite. It's great to know I'm of the tribe of Judah. That's your description. Some of our other tribes. It's great to know that you Benjamin or Levi or Gad or the others. But I hope you understand that Yahuah called you treacherous. Neturous. I was talking yesterday. I'm going to use the new word netrous. So the treacherous, netrous. You can figure out why I said netrous. But he said our behavior is so bad, talking about Judah, because see, if too much is given, much is required, and you can't walk around. None of us gonna have the excuse, well, I did not know. How could you not know? Why didn't you know? Maybe that's a better question, brothers and sisters. Think, reflect. That's why David said, I meditate upon this Torah evening, morning, and noon, Psalm 55:17. He said it. Why? He said, because I need to be strong in my resolve so that when the enemy comes to try to distract me, to try to get me to think it's all numb, or to cut me off from the rest, like predators do to prey, I have enough sense to know, no, I'm only as strong as the weakest link among my own people. So we're supposed to be coming together and iron sharpening iron, not falling apart or breaking apart and being scattered. All you're going to do, and we talked about this, you're just going to make yourself a prime target for these vicious heathens who are going to come. Just because you don't see them looking at you don't mean they're not looking at you. The guy who sold you the mortgage, you know he's selling you a mortgage to put you in an environment he knows good so well that people are going to be leaving out that environment sooner or later, and he knows you're going to be left there by yourself. And there are records of where you're going. Anybody want to find you, all they got to do is go to the mortgage company, look your name up. There they are, right there. And if you don't think that these devils are smart enough to figure it out, then you are not very smart yourself. So I'm here to help you. Their goal is to hope you don't listen to me. You know, the heathens can be about themselves. The heathen can go and move off into one little corner or get a little farm here or get a little something over there, move out to the suburbs here or there. Because one thing about them, they may be alone, but you let something come up. Let somebody attack one of them. You're going to find out they're not alone. What's the woman, Gertrude woman that's on, I think, The View? Her mother's been missing now for, 2 or 3 weeks. Guess what? You can go on Fox News, which is the adversary channel to ABC. Wherever The View is, I think that's ABC. But on Fox, there's a ticker tape. Keep you up to date looking for her mother. A white woman. You think they would do that for your mama, Israel? But you're in America. You safe amongst them. Do you think they would do that for your mama? What am I saying? They could be separated, but as soon as something happens, they're going to come together. But because we've been trained as a people to not come together, if something happens to us, they know nobody's coming because our people are too busy running. From each other. I understand you don't want to be amongst the goddamn heathens. Yahuah knows I don't want to be amongst them. But I know I have a responsibility. And I'm not going to abdicate my responsibility because I'm not going to be that selfish. I refuse to do it. I know that Yahuah is watching. And I know what he says. And I'm going to keep his commandments. And a part of his commandments is you go out and you teach and you warn and you tell my people. What I have to say. And whether they obey or not, that's not up to you. But you better tell them. And I'm going to tell them. But just like with Noah, most of, our people are not going to listen. We become accustomed to wanting to fight with each other. Makes us feel good not to respect one another in most cases. Coming out of corporate America and working amongst these people. When I say corporate America, I'm talking about, I work for companies like the Home Depot, Sam's Club, the Gap. So I'm not talking about, when I say corporate America, I'm not talking about, your local supermarket. I mean corporate Fortune 500, top 5 companies. In the world is where I worked as an executive. And I know their behavior. And I know their feelings about so-called inner city people. Code word for Israelites. Well, they would say black. They don't care about us. They only care about what they can get from us. And their goal is never to see us working together. I'm not talking about on their jobs. I'm talking about helping each other. Teaching each other, informing each other, educating each other. I did it to their dismay. I was constantly fighting them on, you got too many, blacks on your team. You got too many black leaders in your region. You got too many black leaders in it. And this is all big box, in that case, big box retailers. I'm talking about places, annual sales over $100 million a year. Some of them $200 million. I was over an area, I had an area responsibility that was over $1 billion in business, the area that was under your elder. Thousands of people reported to me, black, white, male, female, all, and other nations too. Chicagoland, New England, the South, Southwest. So when I talk and share you these things, I'm not. That's why I say I'm not the dials. Those guys don't have my background, brothers and sisters. They think they're leaders, but they don't know anything about true leadership. They leading all their people to slaughter. What exactly? Zechariah say, pity the shepherd that leads what Yah's people to the slaughter. He's talking about those men and women. And everybody who's a part of their organization. I'm just letting you know. You guys are going to die. And I'm not talking about everybody died to death. I'm not talking about that, the dead one's death is better than the way of the dead one's birth, Ecclesiastes 7. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about damnation. Because otherwise you would not listen. Remember, Enoch 97 and 16. And here it is, it's almost like this pleading. Please listen. I'm trying to warn you what's coming. And we've been saying this, me and Brother Mendez, for, again, well over, a decade now. Brother been side by side with me. Brother Sharif Green, too. He's a quiet dude. But he been there, too. I don't take nothing from him. But this is a real fight. This is a real battle. And Israel ultimately is going to lose. Unless you call 1 out of 10 winning. Unless you call a very small remnant winning. Israel is going to lose. But we're so busy, misinterpreting the scripture or just ignoring it altogether like they did with Noah. Noah said, now you want to know? Now you want to listen? Now you want to hear? Now, and they didn't care about the slaughter. These people knew that stuff was going on. Just like people today know. Some people who are not even participating in that, they know. I mean, how many times you got to say Trump name is all over those ledgers for the people who voted for Trump to walk away from Trump? But they're not going to walk away from Trump no more than the Catholics walked away from the church when they found out that all these priests were pedophiles and raping these little boys and girls. They didn't walk away from the Catholic Church. They doubled down. Well, everybody ain't like that. But the organization is corrupt. If the root is corrupt, the tree is corrupt. So don't think they don't know. They don't. They do know. They just don't care. They don't care about you. They're not trained to care about you. They're cold-blooded creatures. And even though Yahuah has a soul, Yahuah has become just as cold-blooded as they are. Vicious, unconcerning, accusatory, petty, selfish. And I said it just like I wanted, selfish. And they'll find more excuses to justify selfishness than they would ever sit down and think, reflect around how can I make a difference? Because they don't want to. They want to be, a hero. They want to boast and brag about, being a shero. Look what I did. Do you think Yahuah cares about what you did individually? When he says that we are a nation of people, that he dwells with Zion, not with Johnny, not with Deborah. Zion means a collective people, an obedient people. You really think that he's looking at you and saying, oh, I'm so proud of you. That's your mama and your daddy. It's not Yahuah. Yahuah is going to weigh us off of our fruit, off of our ways. And those fruit and ways are things that we did to reflect his love via our obedience. See, man is perverted. When he thinks about family, he thinks about possessiveness, controlling things. When Yahuah talks about family, he talks about inclusion. He talks about discipline. He means, focused, principle, value driven, non-paganism, non-occultivism. Man focus on greed. Yahuah teaches the righteous remnant to focus on the need. Why you read a book like Tobit chapter 4 and it talks about our behavior, what that should look like. Whether it be the poor among us or the righteous among us. Clarifies it and says that Yahuah blesses that. But because we have been trained to be like the heathen, and now we're out heathing the heathens, we think about self-survival. Not nation survival, self. And I ain't talking about no goddamn United States. I'm talking about a people nation. It doesn't matter whether you're in the United Kingdom or Papua New Guinea or Antarctica, the islands. It doesn't matter. If you're Israel, you're Israel. You're a part of a nation. And how you behave inside that nation is how Yahuah is going to measure your fruit and your ways. So if you think it's important to just do your own thing, well, let me help you here. Let's go over here, brothers and sisters. But as I move away from this viciousness that's going on, you're going to see your attorney general, the top police in this nation, ignoring mass murderers and human traffickers. But you run a stop sign, they're ready to throw you in jail. It comes to mind just real quickly, and then we're going to move on. So don't lose your train of thought about how does Yahuah feel about us staying together. But I had a dream a couple of nights ago, and in that dream, vision, or maybe I was just thinking, I can't say for sure. But it came to my mind, I said, what if Israel, our people, all of us decide that, you know what? I'm not answering no more citations. I'm not answering no more court orders. I'm not going to, as far as the law is concerned, as far as I'm concerned, the law don't apply to us anymore. Do you know, brothers and sisters, we would crash the system. We could literally take their foot off of our necks if we all decided to do that. We could just shut the whole thing down because we're the foundation for which they created the prison system for us. Remember, it went from the plantation to the penitentiary. Y'all don't want me to go get the book? You know I have it. It's called Worse Than Slavery. Worse than slavery. The prison system. And who's still in the prisons? Israel. Whether it be Puerto Rican or Jamaican or, Chicagoan or Mississippian or Louisianian or Texan, Minnesotan, us. Arizonian, California, us. It works because of our oppression. It works because, quite frankly, we submit to it. So we'll talk about men like Mordecai, Esther and Mordecai, who refused to bow down to the system. Mordecai told Haman, I'm not bowing down to you, man. Yeah, I know you the right-hand man of the king, and I know you got all this power, and you got all the Persia and everywhere else all working on your behalf, and I know you put out a decree to kill us, by the way. I didn't forget that part. But I ain't bowing down to you. Now you think if all of our people were like Mordecai, Mordecai wasn't anything special. He was just an Israelite standing 10-toed down, 10 fists up. He said, no, I'm going to stand on what I believe. So that's what Israel, that's the righteous remnant. We stand on what we say. We don't say one thing and do something else. Our word is our bond. And if we do error, we know how to repent and fix it. And don't keep doing the same thing like David said. Psalm 51, remember? So I'm going to teach transgressors not to do what I did, not keep doing what I did and keep thinking you're going to forgive me for it. You're no fool, Yahuah. But Mordecai didn't bow down to the government. And if we decided not to bow down to the government as a collective people, brothers and sisters, we'd shut it down. And I know some of you are going to say, well, what about the people who work for the government? Yeah, I know there's always going to be wicked Israelites among us who are going to try to turn us back to the king. I get it. Maccabees 1:11 tells us there's always going to be, we know you traitors out there listening. You can't help yourself. But Yahuah going to deal with you. But even with the traitors among us, Judah Maccabees, they stood up against the traitors. They even killed a couple of them. Go read about First Maccabees chapter 1 and 2, brothers. So this is why being over here with us is powerful teaching. Because we don't get into all of the minutiae, the irrelevancies. This is why Joseph went to war. That's true to that. Joseph, this is why Israel, went into captivity. It's just child's play. At this stage of the game, that's Sunday school stuff. We don't need to hear that foolishness. We need to be talking about what's going on right here, right now, and how to win. Because right here, right now, is where we're going to lose. Not some damn, nursery rhyme. We need to know the history of Abraham. All I need to know is that he took a stand and Yahuah was with him because he took the stand. That's what I want to learn from. That's what I want to know about. I want to be like Mike, but Abraham Mike, not the damn heathen Michael. Just like that thunder you hear in the background, that rain, that fire, and the earthquake, and all those things that Joel chapter 3 says is going to happen. It is going to happen, brothers and sisters. And many of our people, unfortunately, because of your distractions, or you just don't love Yahuah enough. You love yourself way more than you love him. Because if you loved him, obviously we know you would obey him, and you would obey those who he put in charge, because he put them in charge, and you wouldn't be sitting there competing or trying to unseat them. Unseat them means jealous, envious, but you don't acknowledge it. You pretend that you're not, but you are, and you know you are. Like Yahuah doesn't read your mind. He knows every single thing you think, each and every one of us. So like he said, he's going to rain fire on this, but this thing is over with. And many of our people holding on, grasping for air, like someone drowning. Then went down 2 times, and ain't nobody coming. So guess what? You could have stayed down the second time, because coming up that last time to look around ain't going to work for you at all. And that's many of you who are listening. And it's not because Yahuah wanted you to drown. It's because you jumped in the water and you knew you couldn't swim, but you wanted to impress people. Your ego got the best of you. What did the book tell you when you get invited to the table of a king, that you put a knife to your throat and you sit at the end of the table? Because that treacherous behavior of our people, you want to go, the king in the other room, you go sit in the king's chair because you want to sleep. Let me sit in this chair, I want to, how I feel to be. That's not your place. That's your arrogance that's getting the best of you. And it's more towards the brother, but some of you sisters, you're guilty of it too. Kings don't play. Yahuah don't play like that. He sits on that throne. He don't share it with nobody. Just like kings on this earth sit on that throne. They don't share it. When Noah was Abraham, hallelujah. Moses was a little boy. We read about it again. This is why we teach, inform, and educate here. When Moses was a little boy, he went into the king's chamber and took the crown of the king and placed it upon his head. And all the people around the king were appalled. They said, what did this little boy just do? And most of you, he's just a child, he's just playing with the crown. No, they said, no. If he took that crown and put it upon his head, he's pretending to be king. Means that a king is always king. So if this boy put your crown on his head, do you realize that this boy is this boy is already behaving in a way that says at some point he's going to what? Supplant you. And they wanted to kill him. And the only reason why they didn't kill him because Yahuah sent an angel down pretending to be one of the priests, and they came up with the idea of giving him hot coal and said, well, maybe he's an imbecile, maybe that's why he put the crown on his head. Maybe he doesn't have any malice in his heart. They were talking about a 3-year-old. What do you think they think about you when you behave in ways that what they would consider treasonous? Yahuah looking at your treason. Because you want to justify doing you instead of obeying him. And the only reason why they didn't take Moses' head off as a 3-year-old, because an angel took the hot coal and put it in Moses' mouth. But when it went in Moses' mouth, the angel cooled the coal down, so it burned his mouth, but it didn't kill him. But they looked at Moses and said, if the little boy is stupid enough to put hot coal in his mouth, then he ain't no threat to the kingdom. But he was a threat to the kingdom, because ultimately Moses took down that kingdom. Well, Yahuah used Moses to take it down. But what I'm saying is that we all have a role to play. You need to be comfortable in the role that you're in, period. All of us are going to get promoted in the world to come, so there's no reason to fight over here. But if we're going to survive here, we have to be willing to sacrifice over here for each other. Like I said earlier, the heathen can live anywhere, but you do something to one, they coming. They're still looking for her mama, the Gertrude woman. It's been weeks, all on the news, Fox, everybody's looking for her. So they can afford to go about, because they are a nation of people. They do have a code of conduct. Where's our code of conduct? I know it's written in the Bible, but how is it being demonstrated amongst our brethren? And I think we were being totally honest, with the exception of a very small few of us, we have blown that code of honor off out of the way. We say we're going to do one thing and turn around and do something. Just the absolute opposite. Your word is who you are, brothers and sisters. When you something come out your mouth, the book say, what did Proverbs 18:21 says? What? Life and death is based off of what you said. You open up your mouth and you say you're going to do something. Do you realize before Yahuah that is written down, what you said? Do you realize that once you said that's a covenant before Yahuah? And that he writes it down? And if you don't keep that covenant, do you know that that day is going to come that's going to be brought back to your attention? The day of your judgment? Don't you know that Sirach 20 and 25 says that a thief is worse than a liar, but they're both are going to get destroyed? Because if you say something and you do something to the contrary, you lied. And you can't apologize for lies. You have to fix the lie. Because these heathen talk. Well, I apologize. Apology means nothing. Where is the contrition? You have to fix the lie. You have to address it and correct it. Otherwise, there's no contrition involved. Yahuah holds you accountable for those things that we do. All of us. Excuse me, these little flying things flying around here. This is the essence of why we need to learn the ways of Yahuah, brothers and sisters. Because, again, church is not going to tell you that. Church is going to read some scriptures, and you're going to talk, and you're going to laugh, play around with you, play with your little daughters, and play with your little boys. And I don't mean with Tonka toys. You're going to play with the other things if you don't watch your children. You brought them in there, so you brought them in the Bell's Mulak temple. What you thought was going to happen. Same thing that's been happening for centuries. Now, if you truly, truly, truly take your life seriously, your soul seriously, and you should, because it's the only one you have, the only one you're going to get. You'll come back, but you'll come back one place or another. Your ass ain't going to be coming back no 144,000 reincarnation foolishness. That's folly. The book said, dead know nothing. When Daniel, look at it like this, brothers. So all these people that we know, I believe in reincarnation. We the prophets. We just don't know we the prophets. That's some camps, some of them. But this is the foolishness. This is the same thing they were doing in their so-called heathen Jesus day. The Pharisees believed one thing, the Sadducees believed, and one believed in the resurrection, the other group didn't. Remember, Elder taught that foolishness, that witchcraft lies for 3 decades I taught it. The same thing that's happening right now. Some of them believe, Bishop Nathaniel don't believe in the resurrection, but the apostle Yahuah, he believes in it. Just sheer witchcraft sorcery, both of them. Lost in the sauce. No, this book teaches us that the soul that sins will die. What did he tell Daniel? Gabriel told Daniel, seal the book to the time of the end. Knowledge will increase, man will be going to and fro. He said, now you go rest with your fathers until the time of the end. He didn't say, Daniel, go lay down and somebody else going to take over your spirit and come back and his name going to be Charlie Brown. No, he said, go rest with your fathers. That means the fathers are still resting too. So ain't no damn prophets come back here in a different body. That's idiotic foolishness that wizards and sorcerers teach to lesser learned, ignorant fools who have nothing else going for themselves but high-minded, arrogant, big-mouth lies, thinking that somewhere they're going to inherit a bunch of whores in the world to come, which don't exist. Because whores ain't getting up there. Or down here, better say it. Whores going to be down there burning. Right with them. I'm sorry, brother. It's a distraction. I ain't playing with it. You don't get in the way of y'all's business. Insect or man. But these are the things I bring this up because Yahuah put up on my heart. In that dream, like I said a moment, he said, what if we all just opt out? We just said, we're not going to do it anymore. Could we be like Haman and Esther, change the whole world for our people if we did? So I don't care if we got traitors among us. Ignore the traitor. Fight him. Destroy them like Judah Maccabees did at that altar. Remember the one ran in there, grabbed hold to the altar? What did Judah Maccabees do? He was so indignant, he killed him. See, Israel, male in his right mind, he's not going to let anybody desecrate Yahuwah's work. He's not going to let anybody put their hands on Yahuwah's prophet. That's what David was talking about to his men that were following him. No, you ain't took your hand on no Saul. Well, we can kill him right now, David, and we done, and we ain't got to worry about you could be king right now. We all can get promoted and, get us some whatever. David said, I'll be damned if you ain't touching Yah's anointed. None of y'all, you better not. So that's Yah's business. That's why I say David was a man. That's why David was a good king. A righteous man. A righteous king. He died righteous. But he demonstrated that throughout his whole entire life. Always accountable for what he was responsible for. Never abdicated his duty. He was never absent without leave. He was focused, and that's where you need to be, man of Zion. If you're really a righteous man, you need to be focused on Yahuwah's work, not on your thing, on Yahuwah's thing. His purpose for our lives as a collective. David was like that. And that's why he said, no, I'm not going to put my hands on Yah's anointed. I'm not going to do him anything, so I'll let Yahuwah deal with him. David clearly understood the Psalm, touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm. Was that Psalms 115, 105? 105, 115. It's either up, but it's there. But David quoted it. When the young man claimed, the little Edomite came over there claiming that he killed Saul, which he was lying, because they're always liars in their bloodline. He slaughtered him. He said, how dare you touch Yah's name? He said, you weren't afraid to put your hands on Yahuwah's anointed? For most of Israel, you're not afraid. Some of you just tell flat out lies to the anointed and then walk away like, no, sorry, shit happens. Well, it will to you. Give it a moment. Yah's judging a lot of them out there, but he's judging people you and I know. But when you talk, they'll come in, oh, Elder, everything's going so great. They're lying. Elder, I met the great woman. He's lying. I didn't realize at the time he was lying. He's just trying to make it seem to me like he's doing well. He ain't doing well. He's the same one lied, told us about Bitcoin. I ain't going to get into name calling. We thought he was with us. He was a damn Bitcoin salesman. think a little light in the shorts too. I think, he had a crush on men. But I'm just saying to my brothers and sisters, this wickedness it's abound. It's abounding everywhere. And it's happening in plain sight, but you don't see it because you're trained not to see it. And the way they train you not to see it is to keep your eyes outside of this Torah. And if your eyes is outside this Torah, you're going to think that the laws applied to these heathens are applying to you, and they do not apply to you like that. Yeah, the heathen might get arrested for assault, but he gonna get probation maybe 3 or 4 years. When your son get arrested for assault, he's getting 10 to 20. In Israel, we won't shut down their system because, again, we're too afraid to shut it down, and probably not smart enough. It would have been intelligent people to resist their oppressor. Unintelligent people would fight against those who want to destroy them. They would never allow themselves to be taken without a fight. Not an intelligent people. It's only people who are already defeated and don't know they're defeated. And the way you keep them not knowing that they're slaves, you give them entertainment, you give them food, give them a little access, keep them intoxicated with religion and drugs and, poisonous foods, and you don't have to worry about them thinking about nothing but that. Eat, sleep, poop, pee, and hope that they can have sex. About it. But see, the righteous, we're living at a different level. See, our mind is like, no, we don't play them games. We used to do that foolishness, but that's behind us. We carry ourselves like kings and queens, royalty. May not have much, but what we have, we're gonna respect it. We're gonna treat it, with a sense of purpose. We're gonna take baths. We're gonna keep our homes clean. We're gonna look out for our children. Whatever we own, we're gonna own it like we have everything, even though we may not have much at all. But we're gonna handle it with class. We're not gonna be trashy in the house and then come out in the street clean. Because we understand, brothers and sisters, that, a transformation has to start inside. Only deceivers give the illusion of a transformation, and that's why they try to give you or make you believe based off of outside, how much money they have, what career they have, how pretty they are when they put everything on. They use their bodies like a billboard to attract flies. But a righteous daughter of Zion, a righteous man of Zion, he already know he got it. You don't have to flaunt it because he lives it. He's the epitome of precious jewel. She's the epitome of fine jewelry. And they can be trusted. They can be counted on. And they understand that this word of Yahuah is a true word. So yeah, we can shut down their prison system. We can stop them from snatching up our children. We can stop our daughters, create an environment where our daughters feel safe, our sons feel safe. But that's never going to happen till people gone mad after lust and vanity and ego and pettiness. But Yahuah say he hates those behaviors. And as I was saying a moment ago, these heathens has taught us, to imitate their vicious, wicked, polluted, converted behavior. And we were told in Deuteronomy, what did Deuteronomy tell us? What did Moses tell us via Yahuah? Yahuah told Moses, he said, wherever you guys go, women included, wherever you live, I don't want you to be like those people around you. He said it. The nations around you means people who want Israel. So I don't want you to be like them. I don't want you to listen to them. Why? He said because they're sorcerers and they practice magic. They're brute beasts. They're abominable. They're witches and they're warlocks. They're enchanters. They pray and talk to dead evil spirits. Their gods are spiritual gods. They're spirits. They're body snatchers, grave diggers, grave robbers, sexual predators. They eat children. They eat flesh. They drink blood. That's why their gods say, eat my flesh and drink my blood in remembrance of me. That's why God tells them to do that. They call it communion. But that's what communion is symbolic of. You all know this stuff. Well, we don't do communion in our church. Yeah, but you still a goddamn pagan. You down in the damn weeds. You ain't supposed to have nothing to do with any of that. The only foundational truth is Yah's Torah, His word, and you walking it. Otherwise, you just, pissing in the wind, calling it rain. But I don't want to hear your rationalization. How about coming to the book and the truth and just doing what you're told? So you can be loyal, so you can be counted on. Show that you have integrity, that you have principles, that you have value. That's not too much to ask of you. But a people divided cannot stand. Any person that's got the sense of a sixth grader will tell you that if you got a war against an enemy, y'all going to be, the more that we have with us, the stronger our army is. The tougher and the harder it is to beat us. That's why the book said 1 to put 1,000 is like 2 10,000. He was just telling you it's the multiplication of a thing. It's basic algebra. 2 to the third the power. Figure it out. But the heathen has taught us, oh, no. Y'all don't need to do all that. Y'all racist now. Oh, y'all being racist now. See, now y'all, it's reverse racism. And we over there listening to them. I don't understand, brothers and sisters. I know I'm getting off a little bit, but I'm not, because my job is to bring this thing down to, like you say, in the kitchen, they say you got to cook it down to to a low gravy. If you really want that meat to be tasty. I'm talking about clean food. I ain't talking about human flesh. That's them doing that part. But we have to talk about the things that matter and how it matters, why it matters. If you intend, again, brothers and sisters, when y'all bring that fire, this earth starts to shake, the power goes down, and it is so black that you can't see your hand in front of your face, and you're hearing every kind of sound and every kind of noise. You can't sleep. You are tired. Do you know that if you don't sleep 2 or 3 days, you become a maniac? You do know this, right? So you are out there by yourself, just for the record, out there by yourself, y'all going to just do guard duty, right? Nobody going to fall asleep on the porch. So your whole life going to be consuming 12 hours over here, 12 hours over. Your turn, my turn. That's it. Pit dark, every kind of sound. And you think somehow or another that makes sense. That's a good idea. That's the wisdom of Yahuah. I can tell you it's not. You can find the word, look at the word assembly in this book, in this Torah, time and time. Assemble the people, assemble the people, assemble. That means together, brothers and sisters. The very thing they don't want this man of Yahuah talking about is what I'm talking about. They want to tell us, oh, nothing to see, everything is the same, don't be no racist, just, they got two gods. They got the God of the New Testament, you got the God of the Torah, so it's two different gods. Seriously? And believe it or not, that's a lie they out there promoting. Well, the God of the New Testament is different from the God of the Torah. They use the word God. Can you believe that? And many other people say, yeah, it is true, it's true, yeah. Because why? So they're being, how you say, teach, inform, educate, they're treacherous, ignorant, and want to be entertained. Which makes you a fool. Easy prey. There's a good story in our book when our people were about to go over to the land of Jordan that will very well illustrate, if I have not articulated this effectively, the power of us coming together, the power of us opting out, following the Torah. Torah says don't learn their ways, don't respect their covenants, don't opt out, get out, but not run away from each other. Get out to come together, not get out to be, preyed upon by wild beasts, two-legged wild beasts. I ain't talking about two-legged. I ain't talking about no bears and whatever else out there, Bigfoot. I'm talking about the ones meant to you, both of you guys, saying, know they're vicious and hostile. There's a history of it. I can show that to you, but we don't need to go through that right now, I don't think. With our sanctuary, I already talked about worse than slavery. I already about the medical apartheid. Hell, you can look at their constitution and say, you don't matter. We're going to let you be an American. We're going to pass a law saying, okay, you can be an American now, although your ancestors were here for thousands of years. All of a sudden, some heathen who come here, had been here more than 200 years, going to tell us that we can be citizens in our own damn country. Ain't that a bitch? And most of us, respect the Constitution. That wasn't written for you. While you doing your Black History Month, you need to remember it's talking about your oppression, not elevating you. It's marginalizing you, so you can remember, who showed you how to make all these things with the peanut, George Washington Carver. Peanut. Madam C.J. Walker, first millionaire. She learned how to make your hair look like white women's hair. And that's what they got you celebrating. President Douglas started off black and ended up white. As far as who was sleeping with. But I digress. But I'm not lying. Why does it matter? Because truth matters. What did Hosea say? Truth crushed the earth will rise again. Or was that William Cullen Bryant? It's still true metaphor. Well, let me share something. Let's go over to the book of Numbers, brothers and sisters. Hallelujah. And by the way, before I go any further, praise Yahuah. In our study Wednesday night, something came up in that study. Those of you who are with us, you know what I'm talking about. You heard me talk about these monsters on this earth. I'm talking about things that are not human, but human-like. Because the book said, Yahuah said, we studied the other night that everything that Yahuah created, he said everything that I created has a soul. He said there are things on this earth that are soulless. But they're on this earth. Well, Yah created everything. No, he did not. That's a lie. That's like saying you put two animals and create a different species and say, well, Yahuah created. No, man did it. He mixed the two things and came up with his chihuahua. His mixed breed, or whatever you want to call it. Hybrid. But he said there were things on this earth, brothers and sisters, And one of those things that he mentioned said this thing literally shoots fire from their eyeballs on this earth. We talked about it. The vile, V-I-L, vile, brutal, wicked creatures. So is it appalling what we're finding out in these Epstein files and all this other stuff that's been going on? But let's not forget, they can talk about Epstein all they want, but have you forgotten about Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy? It's a bunch of them. These demons been eating flesh. Because they want you to forget about it. Like, well, no, it's just the people with Epstein. No, they've been doing this. Is going on everywhere. And those ish people, they're the top line predators. They're the wolves. Talking about flesh eating. Why they push all the perversion of it. Homosexuality, murder, drugs, all that stuff. Who's behind all of the entertainment industry? Who's behind all of that? The money that they need to move things around to be able to cover, crime and abominable things. That's them. They need the ones who got the money is the ones who are able to cover it up. Epstein, I think he's one of them. I know he is. Epstein. But don't get caught up in the name because, it ain't but one true Israelite people and you looking at one of them, and if you Israel, then you one of them. It ain't about the name. It's a bloodline thing, but they're the ones with the names who are, how you say, sponsoring this behavior. Because they benefit from it. That's how they control the earth. Job talked about that. The earth has been given over to the hands of what? The wicked. What's that, Job 9:24? But they say these things shoot fire out their eyes, brothers and sisters. That's what Yahuah said about these things. Vicious things, demonic, vile. We studied about it. You were with us Wednesday night, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So don't forget that. That thing staring at you in the dark, but you looking and you're not sure what it is and think you didn't see anything, you saw it. But unlike the ones it got, it didn't get you because maybe Yahuwah is giving you a chance to figure things out. Maybe that's why you're sitting here listening to me today. Because the day is coming and it's going to come. Those who are not listening are going to regret that you didn't listen. I know you think you won't, you just missed the bad. Don't send me no more precepts because you don't call me. You little girl boy, go sit your ass down. I'm a grown ass man, I ain't got no time to court you. Seriously? But anyway, like I said, my dear brothers and sisters, I'm saying? This is a real fight. These demons are not, in your imagination. And these demons are not the kind of demons that you can say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. They'll laugh in your face with that foolishness. But they tear your head off. I mean, literally tear your head off your body. But they're there. And they're here. And they're coming out of the dark. So you really think you got time to be, distracted, brothers and sisters? And again, the best way to get you is to scatter you. Keep you thinking about yourself. You end up right in their skillet. That's all they eat people. All through this book you read about cannibalism. Again, I talked about Enoch chapter 7. Let's go there real quick, and we're going over to the collective group thing. I'm just going to work this out. I want to follow whatever Yahuwah is telling me. Some of you need to hear this. Some of you already know this. I hope that, those of you who have been following us, I hope you, well then, yeah, we've been studying with you. We're learning. We're growing. You're right. Praise Yahuwah. This is the book of Enoch, chapter 7. Same Enoch that Genesis talked about. Same Enoch that did not die. Only two men that did not die. Enoch was one, and the other was Elijah the prophet. All the other men are in the grave, resting. Righteous ones, the ones who are wicked, men, women, children, they burning. Only to be burned again at judgment. But they're burning now. But look what it says in the book of Enoch, from Enoch. He says, I'm going to start at verse 9, chapter 7, verse 10. He's talking about with these demons. They weren't demons, they were really angels, brothers and sisters. They just went in rebellion. They forgot that they weren't supposed to be touching the daughters of Zion. Or women, period. And they took women, each of them, verse 10, for themselves, whom they began to approach, and with whom they cohabited, means interacted with them, teaching them sorcery, enchantment, dividing roots and trees, which is all this is all your spell casting stuff, your witchcraft. And the women brought forth giants that had children for them. Talks about the different types of giants they brought. Verse 12, whose stature was each 300 cubits. Like I said, they're smaller now, but they were tall then. Verse 13, and when they turned themselves, go for 12, whose stature was 300 cubits, and these devoured all the labor of men, all the food, all the crops, until it became impossible to feed them. And when they turned themselves against men in order to devour men, they started eating them and began to injure birds. This is where all your dinosaurs started. They were having sex with them things. Beasts and reptiles and fish to eat one another's flesh and to drink their blood. And the earth was destroyed because of their unrighteousness. And the earth is being destroyed right now, again, because of their unrighteousness. Their children are still here. It's one of those, talking about this thing that's shooting fire out of his eyes. But they eat. What does Deuteronomy 28:53 say? Men eating their own children, eating flesh. It's all through the book. 2 Kings 6 talk about these two women eating their children. So some of us are appalled. I'm appalled. I don't know why. It's all in the book. If you're truly appalled, you get yourself together, repent, be contrite, submit to Yah's Torah and stay with his people. Stay together. But we can defend one another. Two is better than one. Iron sharpens iron. You heard me talk about that already. But I'm gonna tell you something. I don't care how bad let's just say you got these bad dudes out here. I'll give them credit. If you talking about this mass murderers and that mess, yeah, yeah, brother, okay, that's you. Fine, you happy now? But I'm talking about men who care about each other, men who care about their families, men who care about the things of Yahuah, men who, when they fight, Yahuah fights alongside with them. See, I'm talking about those men. These are the ones, brothers and sisters, that are going to survive what's coming. Daughters of Zion, like I said before, if your man doing his own thing, then I'm telling you, whatever happens to him is going to happen to you. And I hope you think he's worth burning in hell or the lake of fire or an open pit or wherever. I hope you feel like he's worth it, losing your soul, being destroyed right along with him, because he's doing him and you doing him, and so y'all doing y'all, and you're not understanding how serious these decisions are that's getting made. Yahuwah's not going to go against his own word. But none of us are not going to go against his word for me. And somebody got to say the unpopular thing. That's why Isaiah said, don't spare. He said, spare means, when he says spare now, it doesn't mean that we don't care. He said, no, you need to tell them regardless of how you feel about it personally, prophet, elder. See, you got to take yourself out the way. You're making it too personal now. When he said, why do you love those who hate me and do evil? But he tells Jehoshaphat, he said the same thing to me. I say that to some of you. You're letting your love overtake your reasoning. Figure out who you are and make sure who you are is what Yahuah wants you to be, where you want to be, and focus and stay there. And don't worry about all that other stuff. It's not going to benefit you at all, and it's not going to change. So when you're caring about those who don't care, it's like putting money in bags with holes in it. You're wasting your time. You're wasting precious time. I mean, you can take that same compassion, that same strength, that same, if you identify it as love, and place that in that sacred place that it can grow and it can be respected and it can be cultivated. It will bear fruit if you do that. You'll benefit before Yahuah for doing that. Now your name is going to be written down for that. Brothers, same thing. But we have to think this through. We just can't just keep running, like they were saying, like a bat out of hell, just recklessly just running and just grabbing on to the next thing and the next new thing. And, oh, guess what? Jesus is a black man, and he always was black. He's a goddamn black devil. Good now? Come right out of the goddamn Canaanites. Nimrod them started that. But it's all idolatry, it's all lies. It's all occultic. And every soul attached to it will die. Because Yahuah says so. So I'm going to destroy those things who are an abomination unto me. Read it again. Deuteronomy told Moses to tell y'all, told me to tell y'all, just like he told Moses, a prophet from among your brethren, like unto yourself. Y'all supposed to listen to me. But like many with Moses, they said, Moses, we ain't got to listen to nobody. So your rebellion is your rebellion. It's not new for you. Yahuah don't change though, so that's new for you, but not good news. It's just, you just think you know something. You think you're the beginning of something different, and you're just another, how you say, part of the wheel. You're just on a different part of the wheel than the next guy, like a Ferris wheel. Some are down at the bottom, and some are way at the top. You just, it's just going around. You think you think you're seeing something different. No. You're just in a different part on the same merry-go-round, brothers and sisters. Except you get off of it. But to get off of it, you got to get out of yourself. You got to be able to look in that mirror and stop seeing who you are and see Yahuah, see his Torah. And if you're covering, see your man. If you cover, you're supposed to look in that mirror and see your man in that mirror. If you cover it, he's righteous. So you're supposed to see. He's the high priest of your house. Think about it. Well, Yahuah judges him, he judges everybody in his house. We'll get there. But before we go there, I want to show you what happens, brothers and sisters, when a people becomes complacent or people feel like it's okay to do what they want to do. And we know what Deuteronomy, let's look at Deuteronomy 12 and 8, then we're going to go over to the book of Numbers, chapter 32. First of all, let's go to Deuteronomy 12 and 8. And this is Torah. That's the beautiful thing about these teachings, whether it be Wednesday night study, we end the Torah in the Tanakh, whether it be these teachings, the book is open. We don't need no damn PowerPoints, we don't need no NIV and New KJV and King James. We don't need all that. Now, we're going to use Yahuah to teach us. We're going to have his understanding that's come through his spirit. And by the way, we found out that wisdom is not a woman. If you were with us the other night, you would have saw it with us. But then about as a father and a king. It's a metaphor when he uses her that way, but I know it's not going to change your mind. If you want to worship Samarinus and the Virgin Mary and Isis. Because you're a pagan lover. Deuteronomy chapter 12. It's going to be quick. Then we're going to go, I'm talking about what I'm looking for. What does Deuteronomy 12 and 8 says? It says this. It says, Deuteronomy 12 and 8. It says this. You shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. This is Moses talking to the people. Every man whatsoever is right in their own eyes. He's clearly telling us that we have no business following our own minds. This is why Proverbs 14 and 12 says this. And if you're learning and you find this teaching informative, then do what our little brother, the other Noah said. Thumb up the video. Hallelujah. Be sure to share it. Proverbs 14 and 12. I'll read it real quick. On my way. We're getting there. Look what it says, dear brothers and sisters. It says this. There is a way which seems right unto a person or a man. But the end of that way are the ways of death. So just because it seems to you to be, practical, maybe logical, rational, did you seek Yahuah first before you made that decision? Because Proverbs 3 and 5 said we're supposed to trust in Yahuah with all our heart and lean not to our own understanding. Isn't that right? We're supposed to acknowledge him before we make a decision. Isn't that right? And how do we acknowledge him? We go to his prophet, his leadership, hierarchy that he set in place. He didn't ask our permission. He didn't say, well, if you want to. He said, no, if you mind, you're going to do what I said. Otherwise, you're not his. If you're part of the redeemed, he said, you're going to do what I said. Not what you want to do. This is clearly why Deuteronomy 18 and 15 is there. And he said, if you don't do it, he said, guess what? You're going to know about it. That means something really, really horrific is going to teach you a lesson I can assure you that you'll never forget. This is serious business, brothers and sisters. Not a game. You'd be better off saying, I don't believe in nothing. I'm going to do what I want to do, elder. And if hell is real or fire is real, I'll burn. You'd be better off going that way than to be blaspheming and playing with Yahuwah's word, perverting it and spinning it to make it work for you. All that does is make you a fool. What did Solomon say? What did he say here? Look at verse 1, chapter 1. Not verse 1, but chapter 1. Same thing, Proverbs. What did he say here? Look at verse 22. How long will you simple ones will you love to be simple-minded? It means selfish. And you scorn if delight in scorning. How long will you fool hate knowledge? He said, you need to respect my reproof. And he said, when I correct you, you're supposed to accept that correction. He said, then I'll pour out my spirit on you and I'll make known to you my words. But because I called and you don't want to hear what I have to say, I have stretched out my hand and you don't want to take it because you want to do what you want to do is what it's meaning here. But you have set your naught, or you turned away from my counsel and would not accept any correction. So I'm going to laugh at you when your day of trouble comes. And I will mock you when your fear comes. For your fear will come as a desolation and destruction as a whirlwind, and your stress and your anguish will come upon you. And then you're going to call on me just like you did in Noah's day, but I will not answer. You will seek me early, but guess what? You're not going to find me. For you hated knowledge and did not choose to fear Yahuwah. You hated knowledge. And you wouldn't take my counsel. And you despised the correction. Therefore you shall eat the fruit of your own way, and you shall be filled with your own devices. For the turning away of the simple is going to get you killed. And the prosperity of food is going to destroy them. But whoever hearkens unto me shall dwell safely, and they shall be protected from evil. So you can't do what you want to do and say Yahuwah is with you. That's not true. Just like he told Moses over here. Again, Deuteronomy 12 and 8. You shall not do after all the things that you are doing here this day. Every man whatsoever is right in his own eye. So you're not supposed to be doing what you used to do. If you used to be focused on, family, you're not supposed to be focused on family anymore. If that family is in contradiction to what Yahuah says in terms of obedience. It's not that we hate them or love them any less. We just love Yahuah more. He said, whatever our behavior was before coming into this truth, we're supposed to not be walk in that behavior anymore. Doing what is right in our own eyes. And disregarding the counsel that says don't do it. But you did it anyway. He said, okay, you can do it. You have a choice. But you're going to pay a heavy price for it. And no, when you call on me, I'm not going to answer because I never was with you. The minute you made the decision to do what you want to do and go against my Torah, you were saying, then I'm not going to be with you. You're on your own. And when the wolves come and these beasts come or whatever shoots fire out of his eyes or whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen to you and your children and anything else that's associated with you. When the enemy comes in the flood like a flood, you're going to drown. When you walk through the fire, you're going to get burned. Every weapon formed against you is going to prosper. Because all those things I mentioned are those for those who are obedient. Not for those who are doing what they want to do, brothers and sisters. And somebody needs to say it. So I'm saying it's my responsibility to say it. And if you don't want the reproof, then reject it. You're not doing anything new. The book said you would. And the book can't be changed. Yahuwah's word is forever established in the heavens. What did Balaam go back and tell Balak? Yahuwah is not a man that he should lie, or the son of man that he should repent. What did Samuel tell Saul? Says Yahuwah is not a man that he should lie, Saul, or man that he should repent. Numbers. First one was Numbers 23 and 19. The second one was 2 Samuel 15 and 21, there and about. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. And it doesn't. Now, if you want to save your soul, you will listen. But many of you, look at this verse 13, chapter 13, it says, if there could rise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams and give you a sign or a wonder, and that sign and a wonder come to pass where he's spoken to you, saying, let us go after other gods, which you have not known, let us serve them. You shall not listen unto the words of that prophet, even if that's your husband. You should not listen to him. Or a dreamer of dreams. I had a dream. But Yahuwah Elohim will prove you. He's going to test you to know whether or not you love Yahuwah with all your heart, with all your mind, and all your soul. You should walk after Yahuwah and fear him and guard his commandments and obey his voice, not your own. And you shall serve him and cleave unto him. And any prophet or dreamer of dreams shall be put to death because he has spoken to turn you away from Yahuwah. So I'm never going to turn you away from Yahuwah by telling you what you want to hear. I'll tell you the truth. Or I'm going to be put to death. And if you don't listen, you're going to get put to death too. But come on, let's go over to the book of Numbers. Check this out, brothers and sisters. And this is, again, what I'm emphasizing to each and every one of us. What's coming, brothers and sisters, is going to take a collective to fight against this. This evil, I'm talking about the physical one. We're going to have to go to war. This may come down to hand-to-hand combat. That's why I tell my brothers and sisters, you need to get yourself physically healthy. Stay out of these damn, experimental labs called hospitals. You're not a damn guinea pig for people to be poking around practicing magic on you, by the way. Giving you roosts and drugs. That's what those demons taught the people. You heard me say that earlier. They taught the women roosts and drugs. That's what you would call today's medication. Pharmaceuticals. We talked about that Wednesday. Ain't no sickness that Yahuah can't heal. But you can't trust in him and then trust in them at the same time. I trust in Yahuah, but I'm going to see him or her. I'm going to see the physician. The Baal priest, might as well say it. The sorcerer. They said we don't practice sorcery in Yahuah. It's in the book. You're going to make it up. Deuteronomy 18, start reading at verse 9, read on down to 14. You'll get there, I promise you. Well, look at Numbers chapter 32. Let's go over here. I want to show you now, our people, as you know, we were in the wilderness and the time came that Yahuah said what? I want you now to go and possess the promise. See, right up until this point, brothers and sisters, the battle, the struggle that we're in right now, Yahuah been watching. Like I said, many of you, brothers and sisters, you knew who you were going to be. Not all of you, because, well, Elder, if I'm listening to you, it's got to be me too. No, that is not true. Satan came every time the sons of Elohim came before Yahuah. Satan was there and listening too. So just because you listening doesn't mean it applies to you. Cut it out. Cut it out. Don't apply to you if you're not going to be obedient. It only applies to those of you who are going to be obedient. Satan would come in and listen and go right back to the devil would come and listen and go right on back out and keep on doing what they've been doing, like a dog returning to the vomit. So just because you hear the word, it's not about just hearing. You need to hear the word, but you need to do this word. Otherwise, like I said before, you peeing in the wind, calling it rain. It's wet, but it ain't what you think it is. It ain't clean. And it's not Yahuah, that's your thinking. Say, my ways are not your ways, and my thoughts are not your thoughts. That's Isaiah with that 55 and 8. Say, my thoughts from your thoughts is like what the heavens to the earth. My ways and your ways is not the same. That's why you need to come over here where we are and learn the ways of Yahuah. And then when you learn the ways here, brothers and sisters, you need to put it into action. Not enough to say, well, I heard and I've been studying with you. Well, are you doing it? And no, I'm not interested in no collaboration with nobody. I collaborate with Yahuah. This is Numbers chapter 32, verse 6. Now remember, we're coming out of the wilderness, like many of us. And now it's time for Yahuah to bless them, like some of us. He's moving us on now. Look what he says in Numbers chapter 32, verse 6. And Moses said unto the children of Gad, and to the children of Reuben, your brothers go to war. And you said, matter of fact, let me start at verse 1, because I think verse 1 will kind of guide us to where this goes. Book of Numbers chapter 32, verse 1. Now the children of Reuben, which is one of the 12 tribes, and the children of Gad, again, one of the 12 tribes, had a very great multitude of cattle. They were doing well. And when they saw that the land of Jasher, and the land of Gilead, that behold, the place was a good place for their cattle. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spoke to Moses and Eleazar the priest, and unto the princes of the assembly together, saying, Ataroth, and Davion, and Yazir, and Nimrah, and Chesbon, and Elat, and Servan, and Nuv, and Beon, even the country which Yahuah smote before the assembly of Yasharel, is a land for cattle, and your servants have cattle. Wherefore, said they, if we have found grace in your sight, let this land be given unto your servants for a possession, and bring us not over to the Jordan. So what they said, that they're herdsmen, they got all this great land that the cattle can graze in. So even though we know y'all are leaving, we're going to do something different. Even though we with y'all. Even though we respect y'all. That's what he said. He said, but we want to, we think we'd be more comfortable doing this. Well, let's see what Moses said. Because this is what Yahuah says, and he does not change. So listen intently, with intention to learn. Verse 6. And Moses said unto the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, shall your brother go to war? Shall your brethren go to war? And you shall sit here? So he said, so they go fight while you go flight. They go fight while you flight. L-I-G-H-T. You doing that while they doing F-L-I-G-H-T. You doing that is what he's saying to them. While your brothers go F-I-G-H-T, fight. So now we're going to have to think this one out a little deeper than that. Say, nah, I'm going to do better than that. So he goes on to say this. Say, no, you're not going to sit here. You're not going to, do your own thing. Watch. And wherefore you discourage the other hearts of the children of Yahshua from going over into the land of Yahshua, which was given them. So y'all want to bless us, but you holding us back because you good. Well, I like what y'all doing, but I'm good. Elder, I believe y'all doing the right thing, but I'm good. We good. Me and my house, we good. Well, Yahuah says, really? Where you getting that inspiration from? Who's talking to you? Or even more importantly, who are you talking to? Because since I don't change, Yahuah, and this is why Moses is saying, wait a minute now. So because y'all good, y'all ain't going to worry about everybody else? I mean, after all, we've been in this thing together for a minute, right? He goes on to say this. Therefore, now you're going to cause everybody else to take their lead from you. That's what he means in verse 7. Now you're going to cause everybody else to take their lead. So as soon as they get something, they're going to forget about everybody else too. Well, we still with you, but we gone. See, teach, inform, and educate is actually teach, inform, and educate, believe it or not. You think Moses had pleasure going and tell these two families, these two tribes, they weren't just families, they were thousands and thousands of people. You think he took any particular pleasure in having to tell them, no. I hear what you're saying, and thank you for acknowledging me as your leader, but no, you're not going to sit out this fight. I'm sure he was very discouraged having to say it, but he knew he had better say it. He realized that, potentially he could make enemies out of Gad and Reuben. I'm talking about those tribes. But he didn't care about that more than he cared about being obedient to Yahuah. Because look, he goes on to say in verse 8, thus did your fathers, when I sent for them in Quach Barnah to see the land. Talking about when we went over to the promise. Remember when they went over, talking about the 12 spies. He told them, now this selfish behavior you're doing, by saying we're going to sit it out, it's the same thing that your forefathers did when they went to spy out the land, saw that the land was good, but decided that, you know what, they're not going to trust Yahuah, they're going to trust themselves. Therefore, we need to go back to Egypt. Let me fall back to what I'm comfortable is what this is saying. And you was telling us no such thing as falling back. That's a dog returning to a vomit, pig to the mud. You said, I have no pleasure in those who turn back. And this is what Moses is telling them. He goes on to say this. He says, just like your fathers did, so now y'all going to repeat their wicked behavior? They didn't trust Yahuah. They trust their own eyes, how they feel. Trust what was in their own best interest and their own best interest. I said they were there. Verse 9, he went on, he said, for they went up to the valley of Escol, and they saw the land, and they discouraged the heart of the children of Yahshua, that they should not go into the land which Yahuah had given them. And there'll be many people, well, I'm not discouraging anybody. Brothers and sisters, Just because you don't know people are watching doesn't mean they're not watching. It's like being in a classroom and someone is not in class. One of your friends are absent. You're not going to know they're not in school that day? Where's Mark? He's absent. Now, Mark ain't thinking about the class. I don't know, whatever reason he's not at school. He's not at school, but he ain't thinking about they missing him, but they are missing him. Not in some melancholy, dramatic, oh, please, we can't be without you kind of way. No, your absence is going to be noticed. And people are going to inquire. And what's going to happen, once people say it's okay to be absent, and I guess it's okay for me to be absent too, because she was absent. He was absent. Nothing happened. When the strength of the class and the educational system is for you to be present so you can learn. I'm not talking about the wicked school system, but I think you get what I'm saying conceptually. Verse 10, and Moses said unto them, let's go back to verse 9. And when they went up to the valley of Esco and they saw the land, that they discouraged the heart of the children of Yashua, that they should not go into the land which Yahuah had given them. And Yahuah's anger was kindled the same time. And he promised, saying, surely none of the men that came up out of Egypt from the 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swore to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me. He said completely, not partially, brothers and sisters. You have to be all the way. You have to lose yourself, brothers and sisters. If you're going to be redeemed of Yahuah, we have to learn how to lose ourselves and see him. See his plan. See his purpose. Just like Jeremiah said, I know the plan I have for you, not to harm you, but to prosper you and to give you a good future. But we have to see Yahuah's plan, not our plan. And we see his plan based off of his words, brothers and sisters. That's why this teaching is so important. All the teachings are important, but this one in particular. Because we're getting very, very close to the end here. And just like Noah, I'm saying, look, don't let this door shut up on you. And then you out there stranded and realize that you were in error, but nothing can be done to fix it. When you had a chance early to listen to it, but you let whatever get in your way, a way that seems right to me. We just read it. Doesn't make you a lesser person for being submissive. Makes you an intelligent person. Quite frankly. As long as you're submitting to Yahuah's Torah and his prophet, his teaching, his word, his Torah. You know, when Solomon told us in Proverbs chapter 30 and 5, he said what? You know, the word of Yahuah is a pure word. It is a shield around those who what? Obey it. It's not a shield around those who know it, who understand it. No, it's a shield around those who actually obey it. You're not obeying it, Yahuah's not going to protect you. I'm talking about his direction. And he communicates the way he communicates. And he's not out there talking to 8 billion people. For that matter, 20 people speaking to one. And that one tells the others, and they tell the others, and they tell the others. Go read about it. Exodus chapter 18, starting around verse 5. Read down. You'll see what the elder's talking about. But it doesn't matter if you're not going to do it. So don't even bother to go over there if you're not going to listen. But it's there. For some over 1,000, some over 100, some over 50, some over 10. And then we'll put Moses at the top. And if there's any dispute, you go to Moses, and Moses will go before me, and he'll tell you what thus I say, and that's what you do. And he's always going to have a Moses among us. Because he promised he'd always have a prophet among us. Now I'm here. You can listen or not listen. But you can't erase me. You didn't put me here. But let's go on here. Verse 12. Just so we can keep. He said, you got to wholly follow me, brothers and sisters. He said, save Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. Y'all know who we're talking about. And then Joshua, the son of Nun, who have wholly followed Yahuah. Remember, they were the only two that got into the problem. Because when everybody else was talking about, well, I don't know about all that, and it's dangerous over there. And they said, no, but Yahuah's what we can do it, but we got to do what he said. We got to go. We got to do what he said, everybody. And they, oh, no, we ain't listening to you. Matter of fact, if y'all don't shut up, we're going to kill y'all. They threatened them. And them 10 spies, y'all killed their behinds immediately. And all the rest of the people over 20 who listened to them thought that they were right. They were on to something. At the end of the day, it was expecting too much of anybody. You expect too much of us, elder. No, I don't. You just expect too little of yourself. That's your problem. I know we're great and mighty people when we're obedient. And I also know we are no people when we're not. Just scattered. Easy prey. But let's go on here. And then Yahuah's anger was kindled against Joshua. Why? This is more because they were what? Doing what they wanted to do. And he made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years until all that generation that had done evil in the sight of Yahuah was destroyed. What was the evil they did? Wanting to bail out, back out. And this is why he's telling them. He's reminding them of their past, like I'm doing to you, my brothers. Reminding you, don't repeat the mistakes of the past. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. You're on that Ferris wheel, thinking you're in a place nobody's been and not realizing, no, you just going in a big old giant circle. Ultimately, you're going to be back on the ground. If you stay on long enough, you will ultimately be at the top again. But you ain't going nowhere. You know, some of you call it the matrix. Well, that is the matrix. You're in it. If you're doing what you're doing, and you're doing what they want you to do, you're in the matrix. Anything outside of Yahuah's will is the matrix. You say there were sorcerers and divinators. That means matrix. They're magic people. They're demons, devils. And they'll sell you on anything if you're willing to allow yourself to be bought. Can't buy me. Verse 14. Verse 14, in all, behold, you are risen up in your father's stead an increase of these, and you are raised up in your father's stead in an increase of sinful men to augment yet the fierce anger of Yahuah towards Joshua. He's saying, wait a minute, y'all see all this stuff that happened in the past, and here it is, y'all stirring the pot, and don't think that Yahuah is going to make it hot. That's what he means by you arguing. You guys are starting this mess again. We just got out of this, and here you go repeating it again. See, because the people he's talking to, they were under 20 years old at the time, or younger, brothers and sisters. See, they forgot what had happened. And here it is repeating history. And he's saying, look, let me tell you, what you're doing is, maybe to you is fresh, but this ain't fresh, what you're doing. You're just following an old pattern, but because you're young, you think you know. That's why I say a man that's well-traveled is someone you need to be listening. We're supposed to seek counsel from the elders before we make these decisions. And whatever that counsel that elder gives, that's the counsel we're supposed to take. I'm talking about the elders of Yashriel who are in line with his Torah. But he says, look at verse 50. He said, now you done brought Yahuah's anger on. He's talking about Gad and Reuben. Because they satisfied. No, we good. We don't want to go over there. Why we good? He said, no, we going over here and y'all coming with us or Yahuah is going to destroy you. You'll find out when you get where you're going. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Watch this. He said, for if you turn away after him, he will yet again lead them in the wilderness, and he shall destroy all this people. He said, all your families. That's what he's telling Gad and Reuben. He said, if you do this thing and you don't come with us, he's going to let you stay in this wilderness and he's going to destroy you. He's going to let you stay right here on this land wherever you are. It doesn't matter if you're in the city. Doesn't matter if you're in the suburbs. Doesn't matter if you're in the country. Doesn't matter if you're in the mountains. It doesn't matter if you're in a bunker. It doesn't matter wherever you are. Hell, you can be in space, which is a bullshit lie. But wherever you are, Yahuah said he will destroy you right there. He said, no, the wicked flee when no one pursueth them, but the righteous are bold as lion. They stand 10 toes down. And they understand the fight is with here. The fight is with your people, not out there by yourself. Not doing our own thing, brothers. And so that's why they're able to conquer and slaughter and all this stuff that happened to our people. All these generations, you know why they were able to do with it? Do it because they were able to conquer and divide because of Israelites among us who could not get selfishness out of their way. They couldn't get it. Their pride was too strong. What the book said, pride comes before destruction. Your refusal to listen is going to be the reason of your destruction or your fall. This is what Moses is saying. This is what I'm saying. And this is across the board, brothers and sisters. And I'm going to say this before I'm clear. I'm not only talking about people who are moving in a different direction than where we're going. I'm talking about those of you sitting down and doing absolutely nothing. You're doing the same thing. Did he not say, are you just going to sit here? Look at verse 6. He says, so y'all just going to sit here and do nothing. And many of you are guilty of that. And you know you're guilty of it. And just like the people behaved before Noah, when Noah warned them, that's the way you're going to behave. But that didn't stop Noah from doing what Noah was supposed to do. And guess what? Noah was in that ark. His family was in that ark. But those folks won't be. Guarantee you that. But look what it goes on to say. For if you turn away, verse 15, if you turn away from him, he will yet again lead them in the wilderness, and you shall destroy all this people. And they came near to him and said, we will build sheepfolds here for our cattle and cities for our little ones. Look at that. They say, okay, see, they're not being rebellious. They're like, okay, we're listening. Okay, well then, all right, well, let us get things, tied down here. Let us get things secure here. Make sure the little ones safe. But we ourselves will go ready and armed before the children of Yahshua until we have brought them into their place, and our little ones shall dwell in these fenced cities behind of the inhabitants of the land. For we will not return into our houses until the children of Yahshua have inherited every man his inheritance. We're supposed to stay together till this is over with, brothers and sisters. You can't say you with us and you going somewhere else. Either you're with us or you're not. You can't be almost. You have to be wholly in. And by the way, it's in your best interest to do so. Why? Because the word says so. He goes on to say this. He said, we will not, this is the telling of Moses. Now they're being contrite. They're not being hard-headed. Verse 9, so we will not inherit with them on the other side of Jordan or forward, because of our inheritance is fallen to us on this side. He said, although we're blessed, we're not going to forget about those who need to be part of the blessing, is what they're saying. So yeah, we're blessed, but we're going to make sure you're blessed too. And then he goes on to say this. And Moses said unto him, if you will do this thing, and if you will go on before Yahuah to war, and you will go all of your arms over to Jordan before Yahuah until he has driven out our enemies from before us, or before him, or his enemies before him, which is our enemies, and the land be subdued before Yahuah, then afterwards you shall return and be guiltless before Yahuah and before Yahshua. And this land shall be your possession before Yahuah. So he said, if you plan to keep what you got, you better come over here and do what you're doing. Do what you're supposed to be doing. That's what he's saying. So Yahuah don't have no problem with you being blessed, but he has a problem with you not being concerned about your brethren being blessed. He goes on to say here, verse 21, and will go, verse 22, and the land be subdued before Yahuah, then afterwards you shall return, or you can go back, and you will be guiltless before Yahuah and before Yahshua. And this land shall be your possession before Yahuah. Say, if you want to keep it, then you better stay with us, and you better do your part, and then Yahuah say, I'll bless what you have. Otherwise, what you have is going to become a curse to you. He goes on to say, verse 23, but if you will not do this, behold, you have sinned against Yahuah, and be sure your sin will find you out. So you got to look in your hearts, brothers and sisters. It's time for real reflection. This is, you can't say you doing this and you doing that. You can't be between two opinions. This is not that, brothers. I know most of us trained to be double-minded. I understand that. We were trained to be selfish. I understand that. We were trained to be self-perseverers. I understand that. I understand the value of it, truth be told. But I also know in a time of war where you have enemies seen and unseen, it ain't the time for selfishness. This is the time to be unselfish. This is the time to put you down and lift Yahuah up. Die to yourself and live before Yahuah. Otherwise, you're the same old person. You always been. Just a different look. That old saying, brothers and sisters, like putting lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. You look better, but you behave in the same way. You got more knowledge, but you haven't changed. You know the truth, but you're not going to listen to it because the truth doesn't suit your desire. And he's saying that's going to be to your damnation. I'm telling you the same thing that he said. And the book said the earth was made for many, but only a few are going to be saved. There's a reason for that, brothers and sisters. That's not just some, wordy, saying. No, that's a truism. True words have never been said. And that few is going to be those who wholly do what they're supposed to be doing. For the kingdom, for Yahshua, not for yourself. I figured that out a long time ago. By myself, anyone could do whatever they want to do and get away with it. But I knew one thing about it. If I had me a little gang with me, had some friends with me, some fellow soldiers with me, a couple of, I like to call them generals. My brother Keith and Mendez and Franklin and, Cameron, the brothers who, what I'm saying, a few others. You don't know who you are, but I'm just saying, we can fight, but I can't fight if you don't come. We can't fight theoretically. This is a real fight. And I say this to all of you brothers out there. You're not fighting with me in the spirit. This ain't no spiritual fight. It's a spiritual fight to get your mind right, but this physical fight, that ain't nothing spiritual. You either with us or you not. And I mean present, physical, Skin. Fist to fight, fingers to walk. I'm talking about that. Otherwise, you're not with us. You're just sitting there. sitting there going to get you destroyed. You just saw me read it. If he don't change, it applies. You was trying to do a great thing. Don't be a part of the holding that thing back. You all said, I can't wait to get out of this wicked earth. Well, then help. If you mean that. You don't engage with your words, engage with your behavior, with your action. As I said earlier, think, reflect, and then make a difference. And talking about it ain't the same thing as doing it. It's not even close, not even in the same, how you say, stratosphere. Enough game saying we got to get it done. I'm here doing it, not thinking about doing it. You know, I want to go in there. Let's go over to, the book of Joshua, chapter 24. I think it's probably a good place, to bring this teaching to a close on this wonderful Shabbat day of peace and rest, and love towards our Creator. Beautiful day, a day of celebration, day of dance, day of beauty. Hallelujah. Day of peace and joy. A day to be enriched. To do a good work before Yahuah. And so do I. Joshua chapter 24. Start reading at verse 5. And I sent Moses also, and I sent Moses. I sent Moshe also and Aaron. And I plagued Egypt, or the known world at that time, as Yahuah is about to do right now. It's already plaguing. Diseases are everywhere, brother. It's going to get worse, sisters. According to that which I did among them, and afterwards I brought you out together. And I brought your fathers out of Egypt, and you came unto the sea. And Egypt pursued after your fathers with chariots and horsemen unto the sea. These people are going to come, brothers and sisters. They're not going to leave us alone. I know many of you want to believe that, but they're not going to leave you alone. They know who you are, Israel. You cannot hide. I don't care where you are on this earth. They're going to come with their armies. And like David said in Psalms 83, their agenda is to eliminate us. They already know what the prophet says about, especially Esau. Esau is the end of the world. They know that Yahuah hates, Esau, the flesh eaters. The abominable teachings, the perverted ones. They know they're hated by him. They know this is it for them. He said he's going to burn them like stubble. There will be no more of them. Ever. No redeeming for them, no redemption for them. How could there be, to be as wicked as they are? See all these atrocities going on, and they're still supporting Trumps and the Putins and everything, and they still doing it, the Bidens, the Obamas, all part of this wicked cabal. All interrelated. Just as Franklin was, Benjamin Franklin, Hellfire Club. Look it up. George Washington's enslavers of men and women. Look that up. Thomas Jefferson. All these constitutionists or so-called founding fathers were vicious beasts. They weren't human. Lincoln. If I had it my way, you niggas still be in chains. That's what he said. I just want to get the Union back together. All these so-called entrepreneurs, I've already said their names. Tesla, who is it? Microsoft, who is it? Google, who is it? ChatGPT, who is it? Y'all know the names. I'm just telling the games they play. Facebook, TikTok, well, we know what that is now. X, Rumble, all of them. Well, let's not forget YouTube. All working together against our people. And they're going to succeed because they're going to destroy 9 out of 10 of us. Because the 9 out of 10 are just like those 10 out of the 12. No, they didn't. We're going to do what we want to do. Nothing has changed. And praise Yahuah for the 1 out of 10. You and I, brothers and sisters. At least I hope you. I know me. Verse 80 says, I brought you out of the land of the Amorites. We know who they are, but he said Egypt too, so let's not forget them. Which dwelt on the other side of Jordan, and they fought with you, and I gave them into your hand. And this is what they were saying, we have to fight even in the wilderness, we have to fight. This is why he told Saul to kill Amalek, because Amalek was attacking from the rear, killing children and women when we were coming through the wilderness. And the elderly. They were brute beasts, just like they are now. Murderers, plunderers, thieves, robbers. Go to other people's country, take their leaders. Go to other people's country, take their resources. And then come here and take your resources. And threaten you with prison if you don't give it up. They're laws that they built to entrap us, not to help us. Their judicial system is set up for them, for white men. They said it. There's no laws in the book that a white man needs to respect with regard to a black man. Go read the Missouri Compromise. 1850. You teachers out there, are you teaching? Or are you just talking? Distraction, paid agents of chaos. The latter, which you are. But you can't touch this. This is Yahuah's word. You can hate on it though. He goes on to say, then Balak. Well, let's finish 8. He said, and I brought you out of the land of Amorites, and you dwelt on the other side of Jordan, and they fought with you. And I gave them into your hand that you might possess their land. And I destroyed them before you. And then Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab, arose and warred against Joshua. And he sent and called Balaam, the son of Beor, to curse you. This is what Numbers 23, 22, and 23 is all about. See, Joshua is bringing the past in the present. It's my job is to bring the past forward. And behaving like our ancestors behaved. The righteous ones, I'm saying. By teaching, informing, and educating. Pulling it forward. But most of our people want to be backwards. They want to just sit there and do nothing. And wait until it's too late and then think somehow or another Yahuah is just going to wake up and say, okay, yeah, I was asleep too. No. He's already awake. And he's been watching you. Those of you who are doing something, he's watching you. And those who are doing nothing, yeah, he's watching you too. Verse 11, he said, and they went over to Jordan. And they came to Jericho. And the men of Jericho fought against you. The Amorites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites, the Kenites, the Gershons, the Shironites, All the ones that Moses was talking, David was talking about in Psalms 83, they're still here and they're still fighting against us. Nothing new under the sun. They don't change, brothers and sisters. But what did Zechariah say? The wicked come in their mother's womb telling lies. I'm sorry, that's Psalm 53. David said it. They don't change. Zechariah 11:5 say that what? They slay the righteous and they don't hold themselves accountable for it at all. They justify it. After all, we made America America. No, you just made America what y'all were. A polluted, abominable place of every wickedness under the damn sun glorified. That's all you did. You ain't fooling me. I can see your work. It ain't good. And y'all about to tear it down. Y'all can cry and talk about these like heathens. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to. Oh, this and oh, that. No, I know you about to lose it all. You're going to burn in hell, you devils. And I hope he give me the first matchstick to throw in there on your ass. Verse 12, he said, and I sent the harness before you, which drove them out from before you. He's talking about for us, brothers and sisters, protecting us, working on our behalf, loving on us. Even the two kings of the Amorites, maybe Trump and Putin. but not with your sword, nor with your bow. See, I did it. And I have given you the land which you do not labor. I've given you land that you didn't have to work for, cities which you did not have to build to dwell in, vineyards and olive yards which you didn't have to plant, but you did eat. So Yahuwah is reminding that the blessing of Elohim maketh a man rich and add no sorrow with it. But you got to love him with all your heart. That's why David said, I will dwell in the house of Yahuwah forever. But he said, as I walk and as I fight through that valley of the shadow of death, Yahuwah is with me. He said, rod and staff. Over here, he said, your sword and bow. The bow, same thing. Rod, staff, sword, and bow. A bow, arrow, a weapon of war. That's why I said he was fighting in the valley of death, not sitting there waiting, doing nothing, brothers and sisters. That's what Psalm 23 is talking about. And then David said, eventually what? He prepared a table for him in the presence of his enemy. He anointed his head with oil, his cup running over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow him all of his life. Does it not say that? Of course it does. Joshua just reminding us, or David was just reminding us in Psalm 23 what Joshua was talking about long before David was ever born. Nothing changes, nothing new under the sun, as Solomon said, brothers and sisters. We're living out history right now. We're living out the end again right now. And most of our people are in a total state of zombie land. And granted, I know some of y'all got inoculated and you haven't done anything about getting it addressed. Then other you, they didn't have to inoculate you. You already indoctrinated. And you're still indoctrinated. There's a difference without an extension. They got inoculated, you got indoctrinated. Or maybe they're indoctrinated caused them to get inoculated. But it's time to return home. It's time to come together, not go apart. Because look what Joshua said. Let me go a little bit further. He said, now therefore, verse 14, fear Yahuwah and serve him wholly, which means sincerely, in truth. And put away the Elohim, your ways, of your fathers, which served on the other side of the flood. Talking about all these things we've learned from these heathens, brothers and sisters. Their holidays, their feast days, their festival days, including the ones they claim to be Israel holidays that Yahuwah said, no, I don't want that. That's polluted. That's not good. I don't need that. I want justice, and I want you to be fair-minded. I want you to help each other. I want you to make a difference. I want you to support. Don't muzzle the mouth of the ox that treaded out the grain. The physician is there to help you, so you're there to make sure he can. We studied that out with him tonight. It's Rock 38 chapter. I was talking about the thing that shoot fire from the eye. That wasn't Sirach. It was another book. But he goes on to say, don't learn the ways that we learned in the past, brothers. Unlearn these heathen ways. Christianity, religion, Baal pure practices. No, most of us got enough sense not to be eating other people. I'm talking about Israel, but hey, it did say that those that are cursed in Israel would eat the children, their own children's flesh. So hey, unfortunately, there we are. Again, learning the ways of the heathen. I gave you some of the names earlier on purpose. Israelites, the Barclays, and some of them. They right there on that plane with Epstein, on that island, and a whole bunch more Israelites. There's no need to mention them. It doesn't really matter. Just know. They've been there too. Verse 15 says, and if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahuah, fine. Then choose this day whom you're going to serve. See, I like that part. You'll say, okay, if you don't want to serve, then fine. Don't serve him. If you don't listen to me, then don't listen to me, brothers and sisters. Go do what you're going to do. Go listen to somebody else, or don't listen to anybody. Listen to yourself. It's probably one of the worst ideas you can ever make, but hey, it's always an option too. But you can't say you listen to Yahuah doing what you want to do. I guarantee you that. Because look what Joshua said here. He said, choose this day for whom you going to serve. Whether it be the Elohim of your fathers that they served when they were on the other side of that flood, talking about all this paganism, idolatry, selfish behavior. We saw that, we talked about it in the wilderness. Well, we ain't going with you. We're going to stay back. He said, no, you're not. You coming. Or you're going to lose everything you have accumulated. Selfish. He said, but y'all can follow the gods of these Amorites. I'm talking about these heathen gods, from all the religions. Every religion is a god from the Amorites. I don't give a shit if it's Buddhism, Hinduism, what's some of them other ones, brothers? The little smaller ones. All of them. It doesn't really matter. Ain't no sense to go through all of that, right, brothers and sisters? Any in every religion, small or great, they're all from the Edomites. And the Edomites were black and then became white. Because they were up in them damn mountains, sleeping around with them goddamn Neanderthals and who knows whatever else. In the land which you dwell. But for as me and my house, what did he say? What did he say? It's there. They can do whatever you want to do, Israel. You can forget all these things that have happened to us, Israel, because of our rebellion, because of our selfishness, because of our going against Yahuwah's Torah. So you can forget all that if you want to. But understand, like hornets, they'll be back. Talk about that movie Portrait, guys. The little girl looking at the TV. She telling her parents, they're back. These heathens are back, and they're back with a vengeance. They're angry, brothers and sisters. They're desperate. And since they can't attack that government, they're going to attack us. So if you out there, like you say, freelancing, on your own, well, when they come, there ain't going to be nowhere for you to run. There ain't going to be nowhere for you to hide. You should have been with us. And those of you who are with us, then understand, like Joshua said, we serving Yahuah. And by serving Yahuah means that we're going to keep this Torah and we're going to prepare ourselves to fight. Ain't nobody touching our loved ones. They ain't touching our children. That old saying, over our dead bodies. And they're going to have to get more, they're going to have to get by more than one of us, Brother Starks, or Brother Goins, Brother Booth. They're going to have to get more than one of us. They're going to have to fight a bunch of us, Brother Yancey, Brother Davis. We ain't going to make it easy. I suspect we're going to be undefeated. I don't believe we're going to lose one man. So that's where we stand. Yahuah is not with those he will not forgive, not with the unforgiven. Because the unforgiven are not with him. So if you want to be redeemed, you want to be restored, you want to be counted with the righteous, then you're going to have to put the work in, brothers and sisters. The clock is ticking. Time is winding down. Just like that rain is falling, soon fire is going to be falling. These wild two-legged beasts, these flesh eaters, these murderers, these killers, they're coming, brothers and sisters. Are you willing to pay the price for your people? Are you willing to die? Judah wasn't about Judah. Judah was about Israel. Judah was willing to die for Israel. Esther wasn't about Esther. Esther was willing to die for Israel. See, at least you forget, brothers and sisters. David wasn't about David. David was about Israel. David was willing to die for Israel. Daniel refused to bow down. He was not going to be a horrible example for the people. Abraham, willing to die what? For the Torah. They threw him in that fire, but Yahuah was with him. But the one thing they all had in common, they put the people first, not themselves. And this is why Yahuah had Moses rebuke Gad and had him rebuke Reuben. He said, no, you guys are wrong. You don't get yours and forget about the rest. And I'm here to remind you the same thing. Yahuah going to dwell where Zion is as a collector. And if you're not there, then you're going to be alone. Again, Shabbat Shalom, brothers and sisters. Thumb up the message. I want to thank all of you guys who give to this work. Much appreciated. Yahuah knows it's going to expedite where we're going. So thank you for those who are helping. Share the message. Praise Yahuah. All glory to our sovereign King. Let's go over to the book of I think it's First Chronicles. I want to say a quick little prayer. I know some of you guys have mentioning that you weren't feeling well, and like I said to you, my brothers, get rid of the sin, and I'll pray that Yahuah heal you. Okay, so whatever it is, look around. Something has got you entrapped. Okay, it's there. You can't see it, but it's there. Look. Make sure it's not the way you think. Maybe that. Trusting in the heathen system for wellness is a mistake. Our wellness comes from Yahuah. Hallelujah. Our healing comes from the food of the earth. His physicians are here to help us. I'm one of them. Hallelujah. First Chronicles chapter 4, verse 10. This is called a prayer of Jabaz. Some of you may have heard it before, but I just want to say it again. First Chronicles chapter 4, verse 10. And Jabaz called upon the name of Yahuah of Yasharel, saying, "Oh, that you would bless me indeed, and enlarge my coast, that your hand might be with me, and that you would keep me from all evil, that it may not grieve me, O Yahuah." And O Yahuah granted him all that he requested. May Yahuah do the same for you. Shalom.